startle your friends today.
I think I like the sound of this.
WKRP, tonight at 5:30 on Channel 9.
Faith 20, a program that will help you find new meaning and direction for your life in the light of the historic Christian faith. Join us now and discover faith for the 20th century.
Welcome to Faith 20. Today we're going to be talking about a very prevalent problem, and I dare say that you probably know something about it. You may have contact with people who are involved in it. You may have the problem yourself. We're going to be talking about chemical dependency, and we're going to be talking particularly about alcoholism. I have a special guest on our program. I'll introduce him to you in just a few moments. Before I do, I want to just mention this pamphlet that we have available for all those who watch our program. We'd be very happy to send you one. Just use one of the numbers that appear on the screen, and this talks about denial. I can't be an alcoholic because, and it gives the various reasons why a person might say that he or she is not an alcoholic, although possibly this person uses alcohol a great deal, possibly even to the point of inebriation and regularly. But the person says, I can't be an alcoholic because, and then the reasons are listed here. You might like to read them for yourself. You might have someone who ought to read this pamphlet. We'd be happy to send you one. Today we're going to be talking to Dr. Richard Gravengood of the Christian Care Center in Lansing, Illinois. Dr. Gravengood, wonderful to have you here.
Good to be here, Joe.
Here's a man who works regularly with people who have the problem of alcoholism. And he knows a great deal about it, and I'm sure that as we hear him today, he's going to give us some insights and some perspectives on how this problem should be handled. Very important subject. We'll be back in just a moment then to talk with Dr. Richard Gravengood.
Modern life, the hustle and bustle of the city, traffic, shopping, so much to do, so little time to do it. With all this, how often do you take time out to sit down and read your Bible? We understand the pressures that living in today's world can bring, so we've created Today, a daily devotional guide designed especially for the busy, on-the-go person. For each day, Today contains a Bible reference, a short meditation, and a prayer. It can be read in just a few minutes, and it's compact, easy to slip into your pocket or purse. You'll like Today, and we know it will help you to find a bit of calm in today's hectic world. For your free copy, write Today, Box 42694, Chicago, Illinois, 60642. In Canada, Box 5070, Burlington.
When this child grows up, what will he be? A brilliant surgeon? Perhaps a courageous astronaut? Maybe even President of the United States? Yes, a baby is a wonderful bundle of potential. But what if this baby's life had been ended even before he was born? We want you to know that there are alternatives to abortion. There are organizations that provide Christian care to frightened, confused young people living with the agony of an unplanned pregnancy. Foster care and adoption services that place children with Christian families are also available. If you're pregnant and need someone to talk to, please call us. Say no to abortion. Say yes to life. Call today, and remember, you don't have to go it alone.
Hello, I'm Henry Bruinooge, Director of Volunteer Counseling Services here on Faith 20. During the rest of the program, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a number, and we're inviting you to call to talk to one of our volunteer counselors. They're eager to hear you and to listen to your voice and to hear out your problems. Perhaps you're lonely. Maybe you have a family problem, a marital problem. Feel free to call. Our volunteers will try to help. Look again at the number you see on the screen and feel free to call anytime during the program or shortly after the conclusion.
Okay, back again. We're talking today with Dr. Richard Gravengood, who is from the Christian Care Center in Lansing, Illinois. It's one of the southern suburbs outside of Chicago. And he's been involved in counseling alcoholics, working with them for some time now, and we're really pleased to have you here. I think, Dr. Gravengood, that oftentimes when people think about this problem, they become very hopeless. They sort of assume that it's something they're going to have to live with, and they're going to have to die with it, and there isn't very much they can do about it. And even if they do stay dry for a while or sober, they're going to go back to it eventually. Is there help?
There's lots of help. There's treatment facilities springing up all over the country. There's all kinds of family-oriented treatment facilities that are helping families to deal with this family illness. And there's lots of hope, especially for Christians.
Especially for Christians.
Who really believe that God can change their lives around.
Now, is it possible for people to become Christians through all of this? Does that happen sometime?
It surely does.
It does. When they really reach what I hear people in alcoholism and alcoholic counseling talk about the bottom, is that a point sometime where people maybe who haven't known anything about Christ, all of a sudden they see the importance of Christ?
As part of the recovery process, many times they realize how they haven't been able to control their drinking themselves, how they haven't been able to stop. They've been terribly depressed when they have stopped, and as they learn more about good treatment facilities and good recovery programs and get in touch with the fact that God is able to give them help if they'll reach out, we see lives change.
That must be a beautiful thing.
It is.
When that happens. Now, this word, bottom, hitting bottom, I see people sometime in parts of our city and various places who seem to me like they've hit bottom. They're obviously out of control of themselves. Is that really what bottom is, or is it something else?
Well, I think hitting the bottom can be at all different spots in a person's life. I think we think of people having hit the bottom when they end up on Skid Row, and we know that's
what
only,
I think of. Yeah.
We're only talking about maybe 2 or 3% of people with alcoholism actually end up on Skid Row. The rest of them are living in our neighborhoods and working in our factories and offices with a lot of pain in their lives. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to help them to see that there are resources to get help now instead of waiting until that desperation of losing a job or losing your family.
Well, how do they hit bottom? I mean, what happens to them when they hit bottom?
Well, one of the new and exciting things that's happening is the whole area of intervention, which involves family and friends becoming involved to help someone with a chemical problem to see how desperately their lives are being affected by the chemical.
Now, I would presume that you've got to use tactics like intervention, because when people are really involved in alcoholism, there's this denial thing working away, and they refuse to see their problem. Would that be true? That
Definitely
is
true.
Taken over in their lives?
The funny thing about alcoholism is that denial gets worse and gets more hardened as the disease gets worse, so that you would think that, well, if somebody has a little bit of a drinking problem, they might be in a little bit of denial, but if it gets worse, they'll obviously say, oh yes, I have a drinking problem. But as the drinking problem gets worse and worse and worse, the denial becomes stronger and harder. I don't have the problem. I can quit anytime. I can stop tomorrow. I don't have a drinking problem. You ought to see my friend. He's got a drinking problem. That's what's so painfully ironic about this illness.
Would you say that the only people who can really be strong about their denial and possibly be safe are the people who don't drink a single thing? But if you drink anything at all and you have this strong denial, it's possibly you have a problem?
Could be.
Could very well be.
Could very well be.
And denial, it's a psychological thing. You can't see what you're doing to yourself and what you're doing to other people. Would that be the way it affects you?
That's it. We talk about it in terms of delusion, and a lot of people who are deeply into an alcohol problem are experiencing what we call blackout. They, while they're drinking heavily, actually experience kind of a period of amnesia. They're doing things one night while they're drinking. The next morning, they genuinely can't remember what happened to them. And it's easy to deny them. They don't remember some of the conduct that happened while they were drinking heavily, what they did, what they said, things that may have been very embarrassing to them. They don't remember it. So they can stay into denial because of some of the blackouts.
So you've got a combination, really, of that psychological denial activity and then real amnesia. That, in a sense, they don't have to deny what they forget, but that gets to be part of the denial complex.
Right. And it's terribly frustrating for people who are living with them or care about them. There'll be some bad language or some bad conduct or something really nasty happen while they're drinking, say something really terrible to their wives, and the next day their wives will ask them about it or confront them with it, and they'll say, I don't remember saying that. I wasn't like that. I couldn't have done that. So it just snowballs and goes on and on.
Now, tell me a little bit about intervention. Is that a fairly new procedure? What's involved? Who's involved? What happens? How does this work out?
Well, intervention is something that Dr. Vernon Johnson started at the Johnson Institute in Minneapolis. It's around the early 70s. It's spreading all over the country. Really what we do when we try to carry out an intervention to bring help to somebody with a chemical problem is get together a group of people who are really significant in the alcoholic's life. His family members, maybe a good friend, a clergyman, someone from his company, people who really mean something to him.
That he knows well and they know him well.
Right.
Or her well.
And someone that would be respected by the person with a chemical problem, whose opinion they would respect and might respond to.
And they become the intervention team, so to speak, the
Right.
task force?
Right.
And then what happens?
Well, it's a process. It doesn't go fast. The people who are involved in an intervention are going to be encouraged to go to Al-Anon to deal with some of their frustration and some of their anger toward the person who's got the chemical problem.
So they're that close to that person that they
Right.
themselves are actually feeling the impact of this person's
Right.
drinking.
It's
So they have to go to
affecting them.
Al-Anon first.
Right, to help them process some of the anger they're feeling or some of the guilt they're feeling, the feelings that it's their fault. They have to mellow down that anger and